What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters Allstar video. And in today's video, we are going to be continuing our ongoing series here on the channel as we take a look at the Unified Banner in depth and break it down color by color and give all of the beginners, the intermediates, the budget, and the free-to-play players out there suggestions based on a veteran perspective on which characters that they should be going for and investing their hard-earned resources on. And if you guys missed any of the videos in this series that we have done previously, breaking down the blue element, the purple element, as well as the red element, you can check those videos out. Links will be in the description. But before we get into today's color, which is of course going to be the green element, make sure if you guys haven't already done so and you're new here to the channel, you smash that like button and subscribe. And let's go ahead and get into today's video. Now, the green element, very much so like the red element, is going to be an element that is going to have a couple of really standout characters that we're going to talk about here at the beginning, and then after that it becomes a bit of a drop-off situation where a lot of these characters are not going to necessarily be worth the investment long term, but I'll be sure to break these down as best I can for each one of you guys if they are something that is worth talking about. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the best character, in my opinion, out of this pool, and that is going to, of course, be the man himself, Goenitz. So Goenitz here is going to be, in my opinion, the best overall Unified Banner green option, even still to this day. For those of you who are unaware, this character is probably the oldest character on this Unified Banner for the green element fighters, and he is still to this day going to be an absolute powerhouse in PvE. A lot of this has to do with the fact that he is going to have an excellent supply of multi-hits, as well as having access to the bleed dot. However, really when it comes to Goenitz's situation in 2021, this character is going to be as good as he still is, based solely upon the fact that he is going to be an excellent clock stopper, an excellent shield shredder, and just an excellent character overall for just overall general mobbing and bossing. And when it comes to Goenitz, he is going to be a green element attack type fighter with a leadership ability that increases Orochi clan fighters' attack by 30% and their critical rate by 13%. When it comes to his overall leadership skill, not a whole lot to talk about there. But when you take a look at his tags, he is going to be a boss fighter, an attack type, and an Orochi clan member. So this is going to be a character that is going to slot into a lot of different teams very easily. And a lot of the times, whenever you are starting off the game, this is going to be one of the first characters people are going to recommend to you. As a free-to-play player or a budget player, this is going to be a character that you definitely want to make sure that you eyeball and pick up, because he is going to offer you a ton of value. He's going to have a 3PG finisher that you have access to in Epic Quest, and he's just going to overall be an excellent character for anybody out there who's just getting into the game. For those of you who do not know, when it comes to multi-hits, those are extremely important for a lot of different reasons, but specifically in things such as Guild Raid, where you are going to want those in order to shred the shield, at which he is very good. He's the type of character that you could go ahead and slap a striker onto him that is going to have the preferred dot for whatever mode you're in, and then he is going to be able to drop shield very quickly, again thanks to the fact that he does have a ton of multi-hits. Now when you really look at him, he is outdated as far as his kit is concerned. However, another note to make here is just yesterday we did get the announcement that we will be getting Boss Syndrome Goenitz with the next BS banner. That is something to keep in mind, because more than likely that is going to bring along with it a new 3PG finisher that is probably going to be something that is going to upgrade this character yet again. So overall, Goenitz is the little character that just keeps going. He is definitely, in my opinion, the best overall option for the green element pool right now, and if you need just an excellent starter character, Goenitz is the way to go, and he is still to this day going to be one of the best value options out there for all of you budget players who just need a really strong character to get you through a lot of this content. So that is going to do it for Goenitz, in my opinion. Definitely the cream of the crop as far as these characters are concerned. But the next character we're going to talk about is actually going to be a character I feel like is extremely underrated. So which character am I talking about, you might ask? Well, I'm talking about Elizabeth. So Elizabeth is going to be a green defensive type with a leadership ability that increases defense type fighters' attack by 45% and their power charge rate by 20%. But this character has a ton of value for beginners because this character is going to have an excellent leadership ability. She is going to be a green defensive type, which means she's going to fit in very well whenever you go into the high levels of Reviving Hell's Dungeon. But the big selling point point with this character is the fact that she has Starlight on her S1, and she's also going to have shock damage on her kit. So this is a character that has an excellent combination of mixed dots, and in my opinion is a character that is extremely underrated for a lot of different reasons. Now you guys may or may not have noticed this, but I tend to use this character quite a bit in things such as PvAI as well, and this character is very good for that. In fact, this character is low-key one of the more underrated recent releases over the past year on the Unified Banner, but unfortunately with the way that the Unified Banner fell off a cliff thanks to the fact that we started getting so many limited banner characters, I really do feel like Elizabeth was a victim of circumstance and had been kind of kicked under the rug as a result. Now another thing that is really interesting about her is she does have a ton of defense to attack conversion, so this is going to be a fairly bulky character for being a character that is going to be outputting a decent amount of DPS as well. And I really do think for those of you out there who need an extremely decent budget option for your Starlight users, which is very important, especially when you take a look at things such as Guild Raid, where that dot is going to be of the utmost importance, this is going to be an excellent option for you and probably the best budget Starlight user in the game. Now when you take a look at her kit, when it comes to her cores, one core I do want to point out is the fact that she does deal additional damage equal to 100% of her attack to all enemies upon landing a skill on a shocked or Starlight target. Now this is really cool for things such as mobbing, especially in things such as time attack. So if you need help on weeks where you need help on defensive weeks or so on and so forth in time attack days, then that is going to be something that is very good. And in general, in my opinion, I feel like this character deserves more credit. This is a character that I am nothing but impressed with as a free character whenever I play her. So if you guys just need an excellent budget option for Starlight, or you just need a green defensive type unit, or you just need a leader for your other defense types, this is going to be the character that I would recommend to anyone. I do feel like she's worth the investment for budget players, and you will not regret it because she is going to give you a ton of versatility over across a lot of different modes. Now it is worth noting that after these first two characters there is a bit of a drop off when it comes to the overall utility of the characters that we're going to be talking about here. However, these next two characters in my opinion do offer enough niche uses in order to warrant the fact that I do feel like they deserve the credit after these first two that we've talked about. So we're going to start talking about another underrated character, which is going to be Winter Love Messenger Jenae. So when you look at Jenae, she's going to be a green balance type with a leadership ability to increase green element fighters attack by 45% and their power charge rate by 20%, which means that she has an excellent leadership ability. It is going to be one that is going to allow a lot of your green element fighters to do very well in things such as Immortals, but when it comes to her typing, not much to be said there. And then her tags are decent as well, as she is an all-star fighter, as well as a female fighter and a balanced type, so she can slot into some decent teams. But really when it comes to this character, the reason why I bring her up is she is an excellent offensive DPS option for chill-based units, which is something you don't necessarily see a whole lot of in this game. Now we've talked about chill units in previous videos in this series, however when it comes to Jenae, for the fact that she does have excellent multi-hits on her skills and the fact that she is going to have mixed dots on her kit, she is very good when it comes to overall damage output for a balanced type on the Unified Banner. She isn't going to be outputting the type of damage that you might see on a limited banner character or anything such as that. However, if you need a good budget option for any of these things, then she's going to be a very underrated pick. And I feel like any of these characters that were released after the limited banners, or any of these characters that were released just before the limited banners like she was, have been a bit overlooked and underrated, which is very unfortunate. But another thing that's cool about her is she does have the ability to apply cold spell on her striker ability, which is another thing that gives her a little bit of utility. So really with this character, her use cases aren't necessarily going to be anything extraordinary because chill is not necessarily called for that much in this game, but I do definitely invite people to check out some of the different Korean players that have built her up to max and used her in things such as Spider Robot or Immortals or so on and so forth, and check out her overall damage output as a green balance Unified Banner character, because I do feel like you might be surprised by it. This is a character that I have used as a bit of a passion project just because she's a bit of a personal favorite, and I do have her at Awakening level 4, and she does output a really nice amount of damage for being a character of her ilk. Again, it isn't going to be anything that is limited banner worthy or even the top tier of damage output in the actual Unified banner, but if you just need a solid overall offensive chill based unit, I do feel like you could do a lot worse than Winterlove Messenger Jenae. And one other thing that is of note with her, she doesn't have a 3PG finisher, so keep that in mind, so it is something that does come up. But one other character that I do feel like is worth mentioning here for all of you budget and beginner players out there, just because she does fulfill a fairly niche role, is that's going to be Lady Geese Howard. So Lady Geese Howard is a green attack type with a leadership ability to increase Lady Fighter's attack by 55%. She's also going to feature tags that are fairly good here with attack type, All-Star, and Lady tags, so she's going to be able to slot into some pretty decent teams. But when it comes to this character, the selling point here is the fact that she is going to be one of the few offensive darkness wielders in the Unified banner that is going to be serviceable for things such as Guild Raid. Now, is she perfect for it? By no stretch of the imagination is she. She has kind of a wonky kit thanks to the fact that she does have grabs and so on and so forth, and her finisher really does unfortunately leave a lot to be desired. But when it comes to this character, she can apply darkness on her striker ability, and she is going to have a fairly decent little set of cores here when it comes to her overall build. So this is a good little character for those of you out there who need a starter character for darkness. She is going to be able to output a good amount of damage, but there really isn't a whole lot else to talk about there. But I did feel like she was worth bringing up in this capacity because she is worth it for those things. And I think that about does it for the main characters that I wanted to highlight in this video, you guys. Now, as you can see, just taking a look at this pool, it is going to be a fair bit more dense than the other characters and the other colors we've spoken about in these previous videos in this series. So, as you can take a look there, this is going to be quite a few characters here in this pool. So I'm going to go ahead and shotgun through a few of these. Now, the next character that I would honestly bring up to anybody would be the Halloween Gatecrasher Alice. She's actually going to be a very good budget poison user. However, there are going to be some real idiosyncrasies going on with her kit that are going to hold her back from being anything super special. But if you need a budget poison user, she's actually really versatile for that. So that is an option that you could take a look at beyond some of these other ones we've talked about. And then when it comes to Orochi Shermie, you can honestly skip her. She does have shock, but honestly, there's just better options. When it comes to Ash, yes, he is a green defensive type, which is again good for high levels of Reviving Hell's Dungeon, but there are better options in ones that we've already spoken of. Then when it comes to Adelheid, I actually like Adelheid. I think he is really good for PvAI and so on and so forth, but as a character in PvE, he does not really have many uses anymore, so that's another character that I would just kind of skip. Nagaruru has always been in a weird spot. I would just skip her. She's a burn-based unit, but there's just way better ones out there, and we are not for burn options in the game. When it comes to Silent Knight Elizabeth, this is another character that I feel like you can just go ahead and skip. There's not a lot of real uses for her in PvE anymore, and she is a decent character, but she's not one that I would really recommend, at least in light of some of these other options. And then Instinctiori, another character that, while pretty decent, isn't one that I feel like you should really be prioritizing for PvE. He really doesn't have a whole lot to offer there, so you'd be better off, again, going for some of the options that we've already spoken of. So to kind of summarize, you guys, in my opinion, first starting out, you should be going for Goenitz. He is going to be the best overall option here for versatility as well as use cases. And then from there, it's up to you. You can really just take a look at those other 4 characters in that second row and decide which one you feel like is going to offer you the most use on your account. If you need help on Starlight, go with Elizabeth. If you just need a really good green defensive type, she's also going to be the way to go. If you need help on Darkness or Chill, then you're going to want to go with either Lady Geese or Winterlove Messenger Jenae. And then from there, you can take a look at some of these other options. The other one that stands out of the rest of the field to me is going to be that Alice. But really, at that point, there is a big drop off as far as versatility goes. So those are the ones that I would recommend to everybody out there. But as always, you guys, let me know in the comments section down below who some of your favorites are. The green element is not for want for fighters, so I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people that have their own opinions out there. These are just mine. But if you enjoyed the video and found it informative, smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. You all take care. Peace.